The night was calm, the city lights shimmering outside Daniel Reed's office window. His phone buzzed on the glass desk, disturbing the silence. It was almost midnight, and Aisha had already gone home, leaving him to finish a report. Daniel picked up the phone absent-mindedly, expecting a reminder from his assistant. Instead, what appeared on the screen froze him cold. A photo. Aisha locked in a passionate kiss with another man. The man's face was clear. The arm wrapped tightly around her waist was unmistakable. It was Ryan Khalid. Daniel's chest tightened as though all the air had been sucked out of the room. His heartbeat pounded in his ears. This wasn't just any man, it was the ex Aisha never spoke much about, except to say their breakup had been necessary. Beneath the image was a short message. "Do you still think she's yours?" Daniel's hands trembled as he set the phone down, forcing himself to breathe. He told himself it had to be old, something from the past. But then, why now? Why would Ryan send it now, after so long? He wanted to believe in Aisha, yet the seed of doubt had been planted. At home, Aisha hummed softly in the kitchen, preparing dinner. She had decorated their apartment with small touches of warmth, candles by the window, fresh lilies in a vase, his favorite book resting on the coffee table. She looked up, smiling brightly when Daniel finally walked in. But Daniel's smile was missing. His face was pale, his jaw tight. "Is everything okay?" she asked, tilting her head. Daniel slipped off his coat, his movements stiff. "I got a message tonight." Her smile faltered. What kind of message? He didn't answer right away. Instead, he unlocked his phone, turned it toward her, and placed it on the table. The color drained from Aisha's face. Her lips parted, but no words came. The photo stared back at her, louder than any confession. "That's Ryan," she whispered, her voice shaking. Daniel's eyes narrowed. "So it's true?" "No," she gasped, tears pricking her eyes. "Daniel, that picture ith old. From years ago. Before you and I ever— Then why would he send it to me now?" Daniel's voice cracked with restrained anger. "Why would he want me to see this?" Ayesha's hands trembled as she reached for him. "Because he knows I've moved on. He knows I love you. He's trying to destroy that." Daniel wanted to believe her. He really did. But the image burned in his mind, whispering doubts with every heartbeat. For the first time since they'd fallen in love, silence built a wall between them. That night, while Aisha lay awake crying silently, Daniel sat by the window, staring into the city lights. The photo wasn't just an image. It was a weapon, and Ryan had just fired the first shot. The next morning was heavy with silence. The air in the apartment seemed colder, heavier. Aisha made coffee, but Daniel didn't touch it. He simply sat at the dining table, staring into his phone as though waiting for another message to appear. "Daniel," Aisha said softly, her voice breaking the quiet. "Please, say something." He finally looked at her, eyes filled with exhaustion. "Why didn't you tell me, you and Ryan, that there were photos like this?" Her hands tightened around the coffee mug. "Because it doesn't matter anymore. That part of my life is over. I didn't want to drag you through my past." "Didn't matter." His tone sharpened. "He's clearly making it matter. He's not done with you, and now he's dragging me into it." Tears welled in her eyes, but she held her ground. "Daniel, I left him for a reason. He was toxic, manipulative. He controlled every part of me. I swore I'd never go back, never let him win again. Please believe me." Daniel's chest tightened at her trembling voice. But the image from last night still burned in his mind. The doubt was poisonous. That afternoon, as Daniel stepped out of his office, he felt a presence behind him. Longtime Reed. The voice was smooth, laced with arrogance. Daniel turned, and there he was, Ryan Khalid, tall, perfectly dressed in a tailored suit. Ryan carried a smile that didn't reach his eyes. His confidence was sharp, almost predatory. Daniel's jaw clenched. "You have some nerve, showing up." Ryan chuckled, slipping his hands casually into his pockets. "Just thought we should meet man to man. After all, we have something, or should I say, someone in common." "Cut the games," Daniel snapped. "What do you want?" Ryan leaned closer, lowering his voice. "To remind you that Aisha was mine before she was ever yours. And maybe she still is." Daniel's blood boiled, but he forced himself to stay composed. "She's not your property, Ryan. She chose me. That's something you can't handle." Ryan smirked. "We'll see how long she chooses you. once I'm done. With that, Ryan slipped a small envelope into Daniel's hand and walked away, his cologne lingering in the air like poison. Daniel stared at the envelope for a long time before tearing it open. Inside were more photos: Aisha and Ryan at parties, laughing, together, holding hands, kissing. Some old, some new, or at least they looked new. Daniel's breath caught. If these were recent, it would mean no. He shook his head violently. Aisha wouldn't betray him. She couldn't. But the doubt tightened its grip once more. That night, Daniel returned home late. Aisha rushed to greet him, hope flickering in her eyes. "Daniel, you're home." He cut her off, slamming the envelope onto the table. "Explain this." Her heart sank as she pulled out the photos. Her face turned pale. These are edited. Daniel, I swear to you, I haven't seen Ryan in years. He's lying to you." Daniel searched her face, torn between anger and love. "Then, why does it all look so real?" "Because he's desperate," Aisha cried, grabbing his hand. "He can't stand that I've moved on. He's trying to break us apart. Daniel, please, don't let him." For a moment, Daniel almost softened, but the storm inside him wouldn't let go. He pulled his hand away, his voice cold. "If you're telling the truth, then prove it. Show me that he means nothing. Otherwise, I don't know how long I can keep believing." Ayesha's heart shattered at his words. She nodded slowly, determination replacing her tears. "Fine. I'll prove it. I'll face Ryan myself." And for the first time, Daniel saw not just fear in her eyes, but fire. The cafe was quiet, tucked away on a narrow street where hardly anyone came during the week. Aisha sat by the window, her fingers wrapped tightly around a coffee cup that had long gone cold. Every second felt like a countdown to a storm. The door opened, and Ryan walked in. His presence was impossible to ignore. Sharp suit, confident stride, and that same arrogant smile. He spotted her instantly and walked over as though he still owned her. "Aisha," he drawled, sliding into the chair across from her. "You look just as beautiful as I remember." Her jaw tightened. "Cut the act. Ryan, why are you doing this?" He leaned back, studying her with eyes full of mischief. "Why? Because you left me humiliated. You walked away from everything we built without a second thought. Now, you think you can just play house with Reed and forget me." "I didn't walk away without a reason," she snapped, her voice low but fierce. "You were controlling, obsessive. You never loved me. You owned me, and I won't go back to that." Ryan's smile faltered for the first time, but it quickly returned. "Oh, but the thing is, men like Daniel don't really know you. I know every secret, every weakness. He's just playing with an illusion. Once he realizes who you truly are, he'll run for blood boiled." "You're wrong. Daniel knows the real me, and unlike you, he loves me for it." Ryan leaned forward, his eyes glinting. "Then, why hasn't he called me out? Why hasn't he stood by you, without question?" "Maybe because, deep down, he doesn't trust you either." The words hit like knives. Aisha flinched, realizing Ryan was right about one thing. Daniel's trust was shaken. That night, Aisha returned home, her face pale but determined. Daniel was waiting, pacing the living room like a man torn in two. "Well," he asked sharply, "what did he say?" She took a deep breath, her voice trembling as she spoke. "Daniel, there's something I never told you about Ryan." His eyes narrowed. "Go on." She lowered herself onto the sofa, twisting her fingers nervously. "When I was with him, it wasn't just a relationship. It was control. He made me do things I didn't want to. Photos, events, appearances. He'd manipulate me, threaten me if I didn't obey. That picture he sent you, it was from one of those nights. He forced me into it, and I was too scared to fight him back then." Daniel's chest tightened. He moved closer, his anger softening into something else: pain. "Why didn't you tell me this before?" "Because I was ashamed," she whispered, tears streaming down her cheeks. "I thought if I buried it deep enough, it would stay there. I didn't want my past to poison us." For the first time in days, Daniel's heart softened. He pulled her into his arms, holding her trembling body. "You should never be ashamed of surviving, Aisha. None of this is your fault." But even as he comforted her, his mind was restless. If Ryan was this dangerous, then this wasn't just about jealousy. Anymore, it was war. And Daniel knew Ryan wouldn't stop until one of them was destroyed. For the next few days, things between Daniel and Aisha softened, but the shadow of Ryan loomed like a storm cloud. Every phone buzz, every unknown number, felt like a threat. Aisha tried to bury herself in her work, but Daniel knew her fear hadn't left. Late one evening, Daniel was at his office when an email notification popped up on his screen. The subject line was chilling. "See her true colors." He clicked it and froze. A video attachment loaded. In it, Aisha sat across from Ryan in the very cafe where she had met him. But the angle, the timing, the words were twisted. It looked like she was laughing with him, leaning closer, her expression soft, as if she still cared for him. The video ended with Ryan's voice. "She'll always come back to me." Daniel's stomach churned. He knew she had met Ryan. She had confessed it herself, but this made it look like something more. At home, Daniel confronted her, the tension like fire in his veins. "Aisha, what exactly happened at that cafe?" His voice was sharp, controlled, but the anger underneath was clear. She blinked, confused. "I told you, I met him to end this once and for all." "Then, how do you explain this?" He slammed his phone on the table, the video playing between them. Ayesha's breath caught. She watched herself on the screen, saw the twisted angle, the way Ryan had cut and edited their meeting. "This is fake," she gasped. "Daniel, you have to believe me. I wasn't laughing with him. I was fighting him. He recorded me without my knowledge." Daniel's jaw clenched. "I want to believe you, Aisha. God knows I do. But every day, there's something new. A photo, a video, a story. How many more traps will there be before the truth comes out?" Tears filled her eyes. "So you think I'm lying?" His silence was heavier than any words. Meanwhile, Ryan sat in his sleek apartment, the glass of whiskey in hand, watching the video on repeat. He chuckled to himself, satisfied. "Trust," he murmured, swirling the glass. "The easiest thing to break, the hardest thing to rebuild." He opened his phone and typed another message, this one to Daniel. "Do you really know who she is at night?" Then he attached a photo. Aisha leaving work late, Ryan's car parked suspiciously close in the background. The next morning, Aisha walked into the office building where she worked. Unaware, Ryan was watching from across the street. His eyes glinted like a predator stalking prey. This wasn't about love anymore. This was about possession. And Ryan wasn't going to stop until Aisha was his again, or destroyed in the process.
The tension in the apartment had become unbearable. Aisha moved like a ghost through the rooms, her eyes red from crying, while Daniel stayed distant, his thoughts tangled between love and suspicion. Every word between them was cautious, as if a single spark could ignite an explosion. One night, when Daniel finally came home late, Aisha stood waiting in the living room. "We can't go on like this," she said firmly, though her voice trembled. "If you don't trust me, then what's the point of us?" Daniel rubbed his temples, exhausted. "It's not about not trusting you, it's about everything. Ryan keeps throwing in my face. Every time I start to believe, he gives me a reason to doubt again." Her eyes filled with tears. "So you're letting him win?" The silence that followed was sharp, almost unbearable. The next evening, Daniel received another message, this time a location pin. A short line followed. "Come see for yourself." Against his better judgment, Daniel went. The address led him to a high-end hotel. Heart pounding, he walked into the lobby and froze. There, in the lounge, was Aisha sitting across from Ryan. From a distance, it looked intimate, like two lovers reconnecting. Ryan leaned close, whispering something that made Aisha flinch. Daniel's heart dropped. He turned and walked out before she even noticed he was there. Inside, Aisha's patience had finally snapped. She stood up, glaring at Ryan. "Stop this, Ryan. Stop following me. Stop recording me. Stop twisting everything. I don't love you, I never will." Ryan's smirk only widened. "Funny thing, Aisha, you can say it all you want, but Daniel will never be sure, will he? I've already planted the seed of doubt. He'll never look at you the same way again." Her hand trembled as she gripped her purse. "You're sick. I should go to the police." Ryan chuckled darkly. "And tell them what? That I'm obsessed with you? That I sent a few pictures? They'll laugh. No, Aisha, this isn't about the law. This is about love. And one way or another, you'll come back to me." That night, Daniel didn't come home. He turned off his phone and drove aimlessly through the city, the image of Aisha and Ryan together replaying in his mind. By the time he returned at dawn, Aisha was waiting by the door, her face pale, eyes swollen. "Where were you?" she demanded. Daniel's voice was hoarse. At the hotel. I saw you with him. Her face crumbled. No, Daniel. I was there to end it. I was telling him to leave me alone. He shook his head, tears brimming in his eyes. I don't know what to believe anymore. Aisha, I love you. But this is breaking me. Aisha stepped closer, her voice desperate. Then look at me, Daniel. Look into my eyes and tell me, do you really think I could betray you? His chest heaved, torn between love and doubt. His silence was her answer. Aisha's heart shattered. She whispered, if you can't trust me, then maybe we don't have anything left. And with that, she walked past him, her footsteps heavy, leaving Daniel standing in the ruins of what they once had.
Aisha spent the night at her friend Zara's apartment. Her eyes were swollen, her heart torn apart. She had loved Daniel with everything she had, yet his silence had spoken louder than any words. He doesn't trust me, Zara, she whispered, her voice broken. Ryan wanted this, and he's winning. Zara frowned, pouring her tea. Then fight back. If Ryan is manipulating things, prove it. Don't let him destroy you. Aisha wiped her tears, determination flickering in her eyes. Zara was right. She couldn't keep running. Meanwhile, Daniel sat alone in his car, parked near the river. He scrolled through his phone, staring at the photos and videos Ryan had sent. Something about them nagged at him. He played the cafe video again, but this time, he noticed a reflection in the window behind. Aisha, Ryan's hand holding a phone, slightly visible in the glass. He paused the frame, zooming in. His heart skipped. The video wasn't just manipulated. It was staged. For the first time, Daniel realized Ryan might have been playing him all along. Later that day, Aisha decided to confront Ryan again, this time with Zara by her side as a witness. They arrived at the hotel lobby, where Ryan always seemed to lurk. And as expected, there he was calm, confident, waiting. Well, Ryan smirked, rising to greet her. Back so soon. Couldn't stay away, could you? Aisha's eyes blazed. This ends today, Ryan? Ryan tilted his head mockingly. Does Daniel know you're here again? I'm sure he'd love another video. But before Aisha could respond, Zara pulled out her phone and began recording. Smile for the camera. Mr. Khaled, let's see how charming you are when the world sees what you're doing. Ryan's smirk faltered, but only for a second. Clever, he muttered. But you think a recording will save you? I have enough material to bury you both. Aisha stepped closer, her voice steady. Then, why are you so afraid of the truth being recorded now? Ryan's jaw tightened. For the first time, his control slipped. That evening, Daniel arrived home to find Aisha waiting. She stood tall, her phone in hand. I met Ryan again, she said firmly. And this time, I recorded everything. He admitted he's manipulating us. I have proof. Daniel froze. His chest tightened with guilt. Aisha, she handed him the phone, her eyes cold and wounded. You doubted me. You let him win. But now the truth is clear. Daniel's hands shook as he played the recording. Ryan's voice filling the room with his own confession. Every word was undeniable. When the video ended, Daniel looked up at her, his eyes wet. Aisha, I'm sorry. I should have trusted you. She stepped back, her face pale. Sorry isn't enough, Daniel. You let me fight this war alone. Her words cut deeper than any lie Ryan had told. For the first time, Daniel realized the real battle wasn't just against Ryan. It was for Ayesha's heart wounded, but still burning with love and betrayal.
The tension was thicker than ever. Ryan had been exposed, his manipulations recorded. Yet instead of retreating, he grew more dangerous. One evening, Aisha received a chilling message. If you won't come back to me, you won't have him either. Meet me alone, or Daniel pays the price. Her hands shook as she read it. She knew Ryan was capable of anything. Without thinking twice, she slipped her phone into her bag, determined to end this nightmare once and for all. But Daniel noticed her nervousness. Where are you going? He asked, blocking the doorway. Aisha hesitated, then confessed. Ryan wants to meet. He threatened you, Daniel. I can't let him hurt you. His jaw tightened. And you think I'll let you walk into his trap alone? No, we end this together. They arrived at the abandoned warehouse Ryan had chosen. The air smelled of dust and rusted metal. Shadows stretched across the floor as Ryan emerged from the darkness, clapping slowly. Well, isn't this romantic? He sneered. The perfect couple, ready to fall apart. Daniel stepped forward, his voice sharp. It's over, Ryan. We have recordings of your threats, your manipulations. The police will love this. Ryan laughed, a hollow sound. You think the law will protect you? Laws bend, people bend, but trust once broken never heals. He turned his gaze to Aisha. Tell me, Aisha, deep down, do you really think he'll ever see you the same after everything I showed him? Aisha's heart pounded, but she raised her chin. Yes, because unlike you, Ryan, he doesn't love an illusion. He loves me, the real me. Ryan's smile faltered, his control, his arrogance it cracked. Daniel took Aisha's hand, gripping it tightly. For the first time in weeks, his voice was steady, full of conviction. I was blind to your games, Ryan, but not anymore. You underestimated us. You underestimated love. Ryan's rage boiled over. He lunged forward, but before he could touch them, flashing red and blue lights cut through the warehouse windows. Police officers stormed in, guns raised. Ryan collared. Step away. Ryan froze, his smirk vanishing. Aisha's friend Zara stepped in behind the officers. She had called them, bringing the evidence straight to the authorities. Ryan's voice cracked with fury as they cuffed him. This isn't over, Aisha. He'll never trust you completely, never. But his words no longer carried power. They were just empty threats, swallowed by the echo of handcuffs snapping shut. When the dust settled, Daniel turned to Aisha, his eyes wet. I'm sorry for doubting you, for hurting you. I let Ryan's poison get between us. Tears streamed down her cheeks, but this time they carried relief, not pain. I just needed you to believe in me, Daniel. That's all I ever wanted. He cupped her face, his voice breaking. I do, and I always will. If love survived this, then nothing can break us again. Their lips met in a kiss, not one forced by jealousy, not one stolen by lies, but one born of truth, pain, and healing. And in that moment, Ryan's shadow finally faded, leaving only the light of love that had been tested and won.